want to say a few things about the Iryna zarutska murder. That it's really just scary to hear what. I mean, people are getting so aggressive about this, and having grown up in a schizophrenic household, with a potentially schizophrenic grandmother, and when I went traveling and I was living out of my car, busking and playing guitar for money in Phoenix, there's a lot of schizophrenics. Like, it's so when you're a street person, you meet a lot of street people. There's a lot of great people, a lot of violent people, crazy people. There's all sorts of colors, man. One time I wrote a song, and that's all I did while I was there. When I went back after college, I think a year after or two. But I was just skateboarding, drawing, sketching, and writing songs. That's all I did. And I ate some dumpster donuts with a bunch of homeless people, and played them my song that I wrote that day. And when it comes to growing up in a schizophrenic household, sometimes you get a Munchausen by proxy, in a way, to the guardian or the parent. They might end up, and whether they want to or not, will project schizophrenic properties onto their children. Now, whether it's full Munchausen by proxy, who knows? But this last address, this lady's talking about institutionalization and getting really aggressive with it. Well, they did that in the early 1900s. And there's one specific story of a woman who immigrated here, and at Ellis Island, for some reason, I can't remember, I haven't read about it in a long time, but it was something that she sent off a red flag. She was a little incoherent or something. She had an angry look on her face. She wouldn't smile. Anyway, so they hospitalized her and lobotomized her. Okay, I'm going to come to America for a better life, and then has her brain surgically altered. So you can't just go around pretending you know what's a right and wrong person, because it becomes really fucking crazy. Like, medicine, generally, it's the profiteering of life and death. Like, that's all there is, and some people are genuinely good, but a majority aren't. A lot of nurses and doctors believe that your life is their income, and whether or not you live or die, they get paid, so they don't care. They're just thinking about money. And I've even been a victim of it. And because look at my finger, I can't straighten it out. It's all screwed up from my hand surgery. And when it comes to this girl, it is very tragic. And you can't let that instill the same hate mongering or the same, because it seems to me that in the black community there's this just functionable system of education towards being and believing that you're a victim inherently. White people are not that fucking great. I'm telling you, I'm white. It's not that great to be white. White people are just as judgmental of me and other people as they are of anybody. Like, 90% of white people are just fucking assholes. And they're all just trying to get theirs at anybody's expense. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit if you're white. They're not treating you better. Yeah. Fucking landlords creaking the floor again. They do this shit. I'm probably gonna slide something. It's usually what they do. There it is. See? Fucking assholes. Anyway. So this call to had dramatic, radical changes, and using this instrumentation of hate is going to just do the exact same thing that we've been trying to fight, in that we're teaching white people that, statistically, if you're around a black person, you're more likely to encounter a crime. And if you're looking at 51% of crimes, what's the statistic of the populace in that bias? That's what you got to look at. What's the probability of being a victim? Because you're around somebody of a demographic that is a higher percentage of all crimes. So you have to subdivide that and actually look at the fact that, like, for instance, if you really went by that statistic, so when I went to college in Phoenix, it was basically in the ghetto. All the homes had bars on the windows, all the doors, everything was steel barred and reinforced and all this stuff. And, like, they even told us, don't go to these certain areas around us, because the school was old. It was built in the 60s. And that's where I learned to build guitars, right? So, but, like, one day I rode my bike down the road, and there was like a block party or something. And instead of sticking to the main, like, highway road, I went one street to the left. And I was the only white fucking person on that street. I mean, it looked like a rap video, pretty much. Cars on the lawns, everybody's drinking, music playing, having a good time, people running around, and I'm riding down the middle of this road. Some people are just stopping and staring at me, and I got my sunglasses on, and I was just looking, waving. Some people are just laughing their asses off. And it, like, there's probably maybe 50, 60, maybe more people. And if you look at the statistics, why am I still alive? I'm in the fucking hood, and I'm a white kid, and I survived. And then I walked down Colfax by the museum, by the Denver Capitol building, literally, and with my girlfriend and 3 black kids, harass us, demean us, call us names. When we first walked by them, they just stared at me in this really threatening way, and they grabbed my girlfriend's butt, and I almost got into a fight with them. And they were like lunging at me, doing that fake lunge shit, trying to startle me and intimidate me. And and so that's 3 people out of however many other people, right? So you gotta find the good people. That's all it takes. And it's not like there's just as many shitty white people, right? Like, I don't have any white friends just because we're white. I've been harassed in my grocery store for years because of how I look, and it's not because I'm white. You understand? Like, I just look like shit. People, my own parents don't even, well, if you don't want that, don't look like a homeless person. And, what the heck was that? Some light went across my wall. Anyway, there's good and bad people of all cultures. But the thing about the philosophy of cultures is that for a culture to prolong and thrive and exist, there has to be inherent racism. You cannot have a culture and not have racism. It's what preserves it. It's like, if all the Jews started mating with all the Catholics, and all the Catholics mated with the Mormons, and all the Mormons mated with the Irish, and all the Irish mated with the Scottish, and all this, and so on and so forth, you get what I'm saying? That, like, there was that study that was done, and it showed a projection of what mankind is going to look like in like 2,000 years or something, that we're all going to basically look the same. Probably the same way that, it can be very difficult to tell an Asian person apart from another Asian person. Even I can, like sometimes I'm like, well, I swear that guy's Korean or Vietnamese, or they're more easy to tell often. Or then you get Chinese or Mongolian, and why am I listing, Laotian and what have you, right? I just try to find it fun, the fun in it anyway, to understand where this person came from that I'm looking at. And if I'm wrong, then I ask them about it and try to learn, and explain what I am too, because I'm probably the weirdest looking motherfucker to them. I mean, I got all sorts of stuff in my blood that just doesn't make any sense. And anyway, this poor girl, I've probably watched her die 100 times now because it's just all over Facebook. And I keep thinking maybe they'll find something more to express, to explain, or maybe I'll notice something. And I just needed some cat therapy after a while. I had to go find some cat videos. Try and not feel so trapped on a planet of just madness that is just going to turn into another wildfire of culture versus culture, hypocrisy, and a lot of these people who are speaking out about it, they're proclaiming that that we want to be fetishized as some sort of white oppressive society. But in the end, all these attacks and how you react like that is just going to end up making you look like that's true. And it's always reverse psychology in that regard. How do you end it? Do you want to end it? I don't know. People who are proud about their cultures need to preserve their cultures. Plain and simple. And the only way to do that is with people of your own culture. So you're going to be racist. It is just there. It's inherent. There's nothing wrong with sharing culture, though, right? That's where it starts to fix things, I believe, is where we isolate ourselves a little bit, but we share it, and we're not, radicalized or harmful to one another. When you start talking about, can't we all just get along, that's usually when you do get a bullet in the back. And what do you do? This video's longer than I wanted to make.